Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for spending some time today with me for another episode. Now let's talk about finesse buzz baits, because this is one of those baits where it's really like, do I need it? Is it really worth my time? And it is, because there are scenarios where it will outperform a regular buzz bite, and it's just not in the fall or the winter. It will catch them on summer places where a normal size buzz bait just won't work. And the negative of a finesse bait is typically you cannot put together a pattern with it searching because you catch too many small fish. The clues you're getting are fingerprints. You need big clues, and this bait will give you big clues. So it is like a finesse jig where you're getting the best of both worlds of power fishing and finesse fishing. It's going to get you more bites. You are still going to catch a bunch of little fish, unfortunately, but you will also catch more quality than you would on most finesse baits. So I kind of want to give you a couple different scenarios where this really works, how to rig it up and keep it running true, and basically when it's just going to outperform. So here we go, the finesse buzz bait. This is one of those deals where if you have a ton of cover in your lake, you know, if you are fishing, let's say up a river, or you're in the back of a creek where there's too much to flip, there's too much to really fish a frog or fish anything that you're not moving quickly, this is going to be the option. Now, the reason it outperforms a bigger buzzbait is a lot of times when you have a normal size buzzbait and you're fishing around logs and overhanging trees and, you know, all kinds of laydowns that have branches everywhere, the problem you're going to run into is that line is going to get caught on the branches. You're going to have that bait come over a log and it's going to not run true, or it's going to come over a log and it's going to snag up. You just have too much cover in the water to really know where you're going to get bites. So it's not necessarily about making precise casts. It's more about just covering water, being efficient, and getting your bait back to the boat. If you're hanging your bait up all day, you're really going to be messing yourself up. So this is one of those deals where you can fit this bait in places where you just can't get the normal size buzz bait. It's not going to hang up as much because it has that smaller hook, and you're also not spooking fish. You know, you're not putting everything on high alert that I think you sometimes do with a bigger buzzbait. This is a more subtle option, and in the time of year where if you want to catch them shallow, you've got to be throwing topwater. You've really got to fall back on every option. And if you want to be a great buzzbait fisherman, it's not just about going out there and throwing a 3/8 or a 5/16 or a ½ ounce buzzbait. You've got to incorporate those 1/8 ounce and those 1/4 ounce buzzbaits. So when I would never throw this buzzbait, because I have thrown this bait a lot and there are places where it just does not outperform the bigger buzzbait, would be big grass areas. Let's say you're fishing some type of emergent grass, you know, hydrilla milfoil rather, or something like that, and you really need to be calling the fish. I like to go bigger blades. I mean, I sometimes go to a blade that is bigger than your normal standard size, because I think you're calling fish out. You know, it's a reaction bite, but you also need fish to be pulled to that. If you have that bubble trail, I think that's another thing. A bigger blade is going to be better when you have changing barometric pressure and a bubble trail on the water, and anytime you're around isolated cover. So this is a bait that is hard to throw, and most of the time when you're fishing around isolated cover, you're fishing for one bite. It's typically quality. This is not going to be the option I'm going to throw. Also, this bait is not as easy to cast. So if you need to make a perfect pinpoint cast, this is not going to be the best option. A standard size buzzbait is going to skip better. It's going to, you know, just be a more accurate presentation. And if you're around isolated cover, you don't have to worry about that one little twig or those 5 sticks or that log or all these other things. This bait is not going to be your best when you just are fishing around a single tree or a single bush or something like that, a normal size buzzbait. But this is one of those deals where if the fishing gets really tough in the fall, like most finesse baits, it will catch you more fish, but the quality, you know, is not always going to be there. But it's one of those deals where if you're fishing for spotted bass, or you're fishing for smallmouth, or you just have a combination of both and you need to be fishing for both to do well, then this was a better option in my opinion. So try that, guys. That is a finesse buzzbait. It will put clues together for you, and on days when you really can't get them to bite that bigger buzzbait, this is a great option. I always have this in my boat during the summer months. It is a killer bait, and I think since it is so much different, so much smaller, I don't think a lot of people throw it. The whole key to this deal is this 1.5 inch blade. You know, you can maybe get one that's in 1/4, but that smaller blade, it's just totally different sound, and it's just a totally different bait than a full-size buzzbait. Now, most buzzbaits, I do like to go with a horny toad on the back or a small swim bait, but it seems like if you try to put too much plastic on this blade is so small that it's just gonna pull that bait under. So I don't go with the soft plastic on this buzzbait. It's all about a skirt for me. Some type of finesse type skirt is what's gonna work best if you gotta cut it down or whatever you need to do. But a finesse skirt is gonna be your best option on this buzzbait. And then typical bass gear, you know, a medium action rod, 30-pound braid, a spinning rod with 20-pound braid, something like that. And again, this isn't all about a precise cast. This is more about covering water and getting your bait into places where you just couldn't get a regular size buzzbait, and those type of situations where there's just too much cover. You can't flip it. You got to be moving quickly. This is a great option. So try that, guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.